Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 29th May 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports. Even before that, please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action, and all the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. To access the training lessons at our homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing Community tab. In that case, click on the Community tab. You get this post. And this post is having a YouTube playlist link that is having all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You just scroll down to the bottom of the page to access the first lesson. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions provided at our Telegram channel. You can find our Telegram channel link in this video description. So join at our Telegram channel. In the previous old messages, you can find the training instructions. They are also available at the pinned messages at our Telegram channel. So if you learn this course according to my training instructions, then you will become a very good independent trader in the coming days time period. Okay, now I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports. First is finding daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. As per the strategy you learned in lesson 21.3 video. So you can find lesson 21.3. So this is the one, lesson 21.3.1. This is the HLQ zone strategy. And this strategy is having more success rate compared to all other strategies, but it is an intraday. Only you have to use this strategy. So as per this strategy, we have to find daily and 75 minute stocks near demand and supply zones. So first, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near to the daily demand zone. So we got 8 stocks, but out of these 8, we need to identify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Let us find the high liquidity demand zones. We got a demand zone here, Indus Tower. Indus Tower is having a daily high liquidity demand zone. So you need to fine tune the zone, and if you can find a fresh fine tuned 5-minute zone, you can plan the trade. Otherwise, the zone might be violated. In lesson 16, you learned when a zone can be violated. Okay, we have identified only one daily high liquidity demand zone from this list. Next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near to the daily supply zone. We got 11 stocks. Let us identify daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. High priority, high liquidity zones. See, in case if you don't understand the structure of this report, you please go through this lesson 21.1 video. This is the video. In this video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail, so that you can understand the structure of this report. Okay. For finding the high priority daily high liquidity supply zones, let's verify here. But Jubilant Food is not a valid high liquidity zone. It is a pierced zone. Pierced zones you can't use for HLQ zone strategy. But if anybody is having interest on the pierced zone strategies, I have explained pierced zone strategies in lesson 27, right? Or lesson 28. Yeah, lesson 28, pierced zone strategies. Those strategies you can apply in this particular, but not HLQ zone strategy. So that's why this is not a valid HLQ supply zone. See, stocks near supply zones, you have to look for only supply zones, not the demand zones. High liquidity supply zones. Okay, here you have OIL. Oil India Limited, OIL, is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. Anything else? We have one more. PI Industries is also having daily high liquidity supply zone. So total 2 daily high liquidity supply zones identified from this list. Okay, this is daily time frame, and next time frame 75 minutes. Stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone. We got 11 stocks. So let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. Aurobindo Pharma is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. It's not supply zones, demand zones. 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Next, DMart is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Next, M&M is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. ONGC is not valid because it is a pierced 75 minute zone. You can't use pierced zone for HLQ zone strategy. So we identified total 3 valid 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. Okay, next, for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near to the 75 minute supply zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. So Bank of India is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone, and this is also having 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. If a zone is having both high priority, high liquidity zones, either side you may get trade opportunities. That possibility is there. So keep an eye on this, even this high liquidity demand zone. Okay, but primarily this report we are focusing on high liquidity 75 minute supply zones. So next one is IREDA. This is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. That's it. So we got only 2 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. So this is about identification of daily and 75 minutes high liquidity demand and supply zones. Next, we will generate Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. First, let's start with Nifty. So I'm generating a monthly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So this is Nifty monthly supply demand zone chain, equity data. See, the reports I am generating is only equity data. You have to analyze only equity charts. You should not use futures charts. Please remember, some of you are making these mistakes. Never use the future charts for your chart analysis. Because of the premiums added into the futures, the analysis won't be perfect. You have to do analysis on the equity charts, and if anybody wants to take future charts, when price entered into the equity chart in your analysis area, whatever the price at the time, whatever the price in futures, take the trade. This process I already explained in the last or recent training lesson 29.8.2. See here, equity chart analysis versus future chart trade. You might be analyzing the equity chart, but taking trade in futures chart only. How you have to take by referencing this equity chart, I explained in detail. You have to follow this technique. Don't analyze futures chart because of premiums, the analysis may not be accurate. Many times zones might be violated in futures charts. So complete this video lesson and then you make use of these reports. Okay, this is a Nifty monthly supply demand zone chain. In any supply demand zone chain report, always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. And look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. And also look into LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. Apply the same rules to the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. And also don't forget to pause the video because I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. Okay, next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Okay, next, daily supply demand zone chain for Nifty. If you don't know how to make use of the supply demand zone chain reports, look into this video. I have clearly explained how to use Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports in lesson 20. Where is that? Here, lesson 29.5 and lesson 29.6. I explained how to make use of Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports for your trading. So complete these two lessons. Okay, next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty generating. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Nearest demand zone to the current closing price is serial number 12. Similarly, serial number 11 is nearest closing supply zone for the current closing price. Okay, next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. And the nearest closing demand zone to the current, nearest demand zone to the current closing price, serial number 16. Okay, this is a Nifty supply demand zone chain report. Next, I will generate Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So I am going back, changing the name to Nifty Bank. Remember, all these are all equity charts. So I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating a weekly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating a daily supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. I mean Bank Nifty, not Nifty, Bank Nifty. Next, generating 5-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So this is a Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So we have completed generation of both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Okay, next I will be generating bullish and bearish and sideways trade setups. These are the things: bullish, bearish, sideways trade setups for a monthly income trade, weekly income trade, daily income trade and hourly income trade. So how to make use of daily income trade reports, weekly income trade reports and hourly income trade reports? All these concepts you learn in your training videos in phase 1 and phase 2 up to lesson 20 concepts. And also how to make use of these reports, the strategies also I have explained in lesson 20, lesson 23 and lesson 24. Both these lessons are for making use of bullish and bearish trade setups. And also how to make use of these bullish and bearish trade setup reports also explained in lesson 29. Especially lesson 29.2.1 video. See here, DIT bullish and bearish trade setups I explained in lesson 29.2, both the videos. Similarly, in lesson 29.3.1 video and lesson 29.3.2 video, both the videos I have explained WIT bullish and bearish trade setups, how to make use of these reports I am going to generate. And then I have explained lesson 29.4, how to make use of monthly income trade bullish trade setups. I have explained. So please go through these videos. And sideways trade setup, I haven't provided any training so far. Probably the next week or the following week, I will be providing you the training lesson, because I am yet to prepare the lesson, but the software is already ready. That's why I am generating software reports for sideways trade setup for our reference purpose. Okay, here first I am going to generate monthly income trade sideways long trade setup. For monthly income trade, you already learned entry time frame is a daily. For bullish or long trade setups, entry zone should be demand zone, because this is the area you should plan your long trades, demand zone. And also in bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup, entry time frame is a daily, right? In the daily time frame, I am selecting the parameter sideways long trade setup based on zone violation, because you already learned the trend calculation based on zone violation or swing high low. These are the techniques. At present, I am focusing for our report generation, zone violation based sideways long trade setup. So I want to generate the report based on this. Okay, and also for this daily demand zone, we need to add filters. Actually, you need to add 3 filters. One is zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Next one, minimum odd enhancer score. It should be 11 for sideways trade setup and 12 for bullish or bearish. Because I am selecting sideways long, so the minimum odd enhancer score should be 11. And the third filter is the demand zone should not be pierced, but daily zone, pierced zones I am generating, because any pierced zones, you can use pierced zone strategies. For that purpose, I am not filtering pierced zones for daily. Remaining time frames we will filter. So that's why only 2 filters I selected here, and both these filters, zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer score, they will be applied to daily demand zone. Now let's filter. We got 4 stocks. These 4 stocks are supporting sideways long trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. See, this daily demand zone is already tested twice. Okay, next. So you need to pause the video because I'm giving you only few seconds time to watch. So next, sideways short trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame is daily, but entry zone should be supply zone. And one more change here, sideways short trade setup. This time both these filters, zone achievement and minimum odd and enhanced score, they are applied to daily supply zone. Whichever you select here, on those parameters, these filters will be applied. Okay, now let's filter. We got two stocks supporting sideways short trade setup. So Biocon is already tested once. Even Tata LXC is also tested 3 times. Okay, next, bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, but entry zone should be demand zone. And also here daily time frame, I'm making a change, bullish. And in the filters, minimum odd and enhanced score should be changed to 12. Because 11 is for sideways, but bullish or bearish, the value should be 12. Okay, with these filters, we got 11 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily demand zone. All these are all daily demand zones. Our entry time frame zones, all these zones, including Nifty 50 is also there. Bullish trade setup, monthly income trade. So total 11 stocks are filtered. But out of these 11, there could be some high probability trade setup zones might be available. So how to identify these high probability trade setups? That you already learned in lesson 27. See, lesson 27, zone confluence with EMA confluence strategy. So this strategy we are applying to the bullish and bearish trade setups. If you complete this lesson, you will understand how we are filtering further. So in that lesson I explained, if lower time frame zone overlapped with intermediate time frame or higher time frame, they have the order flows are much stronger. So based on that, what I am doing, I am adding the filter demand zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is daily, ITF is weekly. So I am selecting this filter, daily demand zone confluence with weekly demand zone. So I am selecting the filter yes. So applying this filter. On the 11 stocks we identified earlier, we are applying the filter. After applying, we got 8 stocks. On all these 8 stocks, these daily demand zones, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. That is what I explained in this strategy lesson 27. Both are overlapped. If daily demand zone overlapped with weekly, that means LTF demand zone overlapped with ITF demand zone, then we assume the order flow of LTF is much stronger because it is residing inside the higher time frame demand zone, that is ITF. Okay, now daily demand zones, in all the stocks, daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly. And weekly trend is uptrend in all the stocks. Here weekly is ITF. Because daily overlapped with weekly, if weekly is having weekly EMA confluence, in that case the overlapped daily demand zones might be having even more high probability trade setups. So that's why let's add that even EMA filter and we further filter this list. So in the EMA confluence at a weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA or not. Anyway, trend is uptrend because in EMA confluence should be used only in up or down trend. It should not be used in sideways. ITF all stocks are having uptrend, so we can directly filter. Now 5 stocks are filtered. So these 5 daily demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. So we should focus long trades on these zones out of the 11 stocks. But remember, this is a daily and weekly demand zone confluence, and weekly is having weekly EMA confluence. Zone confluence and EMA. See, always look into the search strategy. How we are filtering? The strategy you can see here, our entry zone is a demand zone. First of all, entry time frame is daily, entry zone, demand zone. And zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Odd enhances score greater than 12. See, bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup at a daily time frame, we selected bullish. And also in the demand zone confluence, daily and weekly zone confluence we selected. See the EMA confluence on weekly time frame, demand zone having weekly EMA confluence we verified. That is weekly demand zone with weekly EMA confluence. If we make any mistakes, you can see the mistake here. How exactly we are filtering based on what we are selecting this strategy. Okay, now what we do, now here in the demand zone, we select daily, weekly and even monthly, all three together. So I'm going back, removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, three filters we have to set. First filter is daily and weekly demand zone confluence, already enabled. Next one is daily and monthly demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. And third one is weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. Here also I am enabling the filter. With all the three filters, we got three stocks. Just a minute, please. I will drink some water. Okay, so what is the meaning here? Here, these entry time frame daily demand zones, all three daily demand zones, they are overlapped with their weekly demand zone. Again, both together, both daily and weekly together, they are overlapped with monthly demand zone. That is what? LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. All three overlap with each other. Okay, now all are part of the monthly zone. And monthly, what about monthly HTF trend? Uptrend in first two stocks, third one is sideways. So to check monthly demand zone with monthly EMA confluence, we should not use sideways, because sideways trend should not be used in EMA because it won't give any advantage. So that's why we have to ignore the third one, and remaining two, check if monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. If any of these stocks are filtered, then these daily demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success. So all these strategies you learned in lesson 27. Okay, so now I am going back. EMA confluence at monthly time frame. I am checking the filter. Monthly demand zone with monthly EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So let's filter. Now we got both the stocks having uptrend, monthly uptrend are filtered. So that's why these two daily demand zones might be having more high probability compared to the others. The success rate. We're not saying 100%. Probability is more. Sometimes these zones also may fail. Why? Because lesson 20 checklist. Before taking these trades, you need to look into lesson 20 concepts. Lesson 20 is about checklist. I have given different checklist items. If all the checklist items satisfy, then only you have to take the trade. Otherwise, you have to reject these stocks. So that's why lesson 20 is very, very important. If you complete lesson 20, you know what I explained in lesson 20. Otherwise, complete that lesson. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And the next monthly income trade, there is one more parameter is left out, that is bearish trade setup. So let us generate those reports also. So entry time frame daily, but entry zone should be supply zone, bearish trade setup. And also in this bullish, bearish, sideways trade setup parameter, at a daily time frame, I have to select bearish. So I selected bearish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. Now both these filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's filter the stocks. We got 4 stocks. These 4 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. We got 4 daily supply zones. One is piercer zone, ignore them. Or you can use this zone for piercer zone strategies, but not for bearish trade setup. And remaining supply zones are not pierced. You can use it for your bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Okay, out of these 3, what is the probability? Do they have better probability or low probability? That we will check based on zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. So in the supply zone confluence, LTF and ITF. LTF is daily, ITF is weekly. So daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence parameter I am selecting. Now by applying this parameter on the 4 stocks, we got all 4 are filtered. That means in all these 4 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zones. That is what the meaning. Supply zone confluence. Okay, now daily is overlapped with weekly, and weekly trend is down in all the 3 stocks, so that you can further check if weekly supply zone is having weekly EMA confluence or not. So I am going back, EMA confluence. I am setting the filter on weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence or not. Anyway, trend is downtrend. You can directly apply weekly supply zone. So now we got out of 4, 3 stocks are filtered. In all the 3 stocks, these daily supply zones are having more high probability to get success. All the 3 supply zones. See, one of the supply zone is already tested. And price is moving to the demand zone after testing. Or maybe previously tested. Not now, previously. Okay, anyway, this is based on LTF, ITF supply zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next, we will further filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. That is daily, weekly and monthly supply zone confluence. So I am going back. I am removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should focus on HTF. So in the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is daily and weekly supply zone confluence. Next, second filter, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. And the next filter, third filter, weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. That filter also I am enabling. Now 3 filters are enabled. With the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Again, both together overlapped with monthly supply zone. But monthly trend is sideways here, HTF trend. Sideways trend EMA confluence does not give any advantage. Because they won't give any advantage, no need to check for EMA confluence. So this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. So we have completed all the monthly income trade reports. Next we will look into weekly income trade reports. So for weekly income trade, entry time frame should be 75 minutes. And for a sideways long trade setup, entry zone should be demand zone. and also in bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup at entry time frame 75 minutes, I am selecting sideways long. Okay, 3 filters we have to set. First filter, zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Second filter, minimum odd and enhance score should be 11. Now we are adding third filter also, that is 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why here we have a parameter pierced count. In this parameter at entry time frame, that is 75 minutes, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means the zone pierced count should be 0. The meaning is, if a zone pierced count is 0, that zone is not pierced. Which zone is not pierced? The zone you selected here. I selected 75 minutes demand zone. So to this 75 minutes demand zone, the pierced count parameter will be applied. Similarly, these parameters also, zone achievement, minimum odd and enhance score, those parameters also applied to 75 minutes demand zone. See, whichever the one you select here, to that parameter all the filters will be applied. Okay, now let's filter. We got only one stock. So this is a weekly income trade long trade setup. Entry time frame is 75 minutes demand zone. See, sideways long trade setup already tested 3 times. Okay. Next, sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame and zones are 75 minutes supply zone. And also here I am changing to sideways short trade setup. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes supply zone. Let's filter. We got 3 stocks. Entry time frame zones are 75 minutes supply zone. See, this one is already tested 8 times. This one is already tested 4 times. So the sideways strategy is powerful. Of course, like any other zones, they also will be having some failure rate, but it's a powerful concept, sideways trade setup. Okay, and next we will generate a bullish trade setup for a weekly income trade. So entry time frame is 75 minutes demand zone, and also here bullish bearish sideways trade setup at 75 minutes. I am selecting bullish, and only one change in the filters out of 3, minimum odd and enhance score should be 12. Now all the 3 filters, zone achievement, minimum odd and enhance score, and also the pierced count below. This pierced count, whatever the values we set earlier, 0, 0. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. So by applying these filters, we got 9 stocks. In these 9 stocks, they are all supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and all these entry time frame zones, they are the 75 minutes demand zones. All these zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 9, there could be some zones, 75 minute zones might be having more high probability. That we will filter based on the zone confluence. The concepts that you learned in lesson 27. Let's apply those strategies. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is 75 minutes, ITF is daily. So in the demand zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 75 minutes demand zone confluence with daily demand zone. I am enabling. So now by applying this filter, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in all the stocks, ITF trend. Because the trend is up, we can apply on daily time frame EMA confluence filter. So let's apply that filter. In the EMA confluence at daily. Why daily? because 75 minutes demand zone is overlapped with daily demand zone. So we are checking whether daily demand zone having daily EMA. In that case, the overlapped 75 minutes demand zone having more high probability to get success. So let's filter. We got 3 stocks. So that's why these three 75 minutes demand zones are having more high probability to get success. That's why, see, the first stock is already tested 3 times. Okay. This is based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence for bullish trade setup. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is 75 minutes, daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Let's add that filter. I am removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is 75 and daily demand zone confluence. Next filter, 75 minutes demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Next filter, daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone. Both together again overlapped with weekly demand zone. Now all are part of the weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up in only one stock, the second stock. That's why if the second stock, if weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, in that case the overlapped daily demand zone might be having, the overlapped 75 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. Provide lesson 20 concept should support the checklist. Let's verify this is having more high probability or not. So in the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, because 75 minutes and daily together overlapped with weekly. So we are checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. At the same time, the weekly trend should not be sideways. It should be only downtrend because it is, it is uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. See here, bullish. So let's filter. So that one stock is filtered. So that's why this LIC is having more high probability, the 75 minutes demand zone. So this is about bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Okay, next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish, bearish or sideways at 75 minutes. I'm selecting bearish. This is bearish trade setup. And zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And also this 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So zone is not pierced. Let's filter. We got 5 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. Out of these 5 75 minute supply zones, they're all supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Out of these 5, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on zone confluence. The strategies you learned in lesson 27. So I'm going back. In the supply zone, this time supply zone confluence. Because entry time frame zones are supply zones. So we need to check if the 75 minute supply zone having daily supply zone or not. This filter is applied on the 5 stocks. And now all 5 are filtered. That means in all the 5 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones overlapped with the daily supply zones. And daily trend is down in all the stocks, ITF trend. So that's why let's verify if any of the daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I'm checking daily supply zone having daily EMA. Anyway, trend is downtrend in all the stocks. We got 3 stocks. So in these 3 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are having more high probability to get success. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone Confluence supported stocks. So I'm going back, removing EMA filter, ITF specific. Now we should focus on HTF. So in the supply zone Confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is 75 with daily. Next 75 with weekly supply zone Confluence. Daily and weekly supply zone Confluence with all the 3 filters. We got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone, both together again overlapped with the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down only in 2 stocks, first and third. And we have to ignore the second one. So the first and third, if any of the weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence, then the overlapped daily supply, the overlapped 75-minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. Let's verify if any of them are overlapped with EMA. At weekly time frame, I am checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence or not. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. One stock is filtered. That way, this 75-minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success, provided lesson 20 concepts are satisfied. Otherwise, zone might be violated. Okay, this is bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Weekly income trade. Bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So with this, we have completed weekly income trade reports. Next, we will generate daily income trade reports. Okay, daily income trade entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone for long trade setup for sideways. And also in bullish bearish sideways trade setup, at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting sideways long. And zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. And minimum odd enhanced score should be 11 for sideways trade setup. And also 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced, which is on 15 minutes demand zone. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter. We got 5 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. See, some of these demand zones already tested. See, this sideways trade setup, 8 times it is tested. Twice it is tested. This is a fresh zone, fresh zone, fresh zone. But provide lesson 20 concept should be applied. Otherwise, zones will violate. Okay, this is sideways long trade setup for daily income trade. Next, sideways short trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame zone is 15 minutes supply zone. And also here bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup at 15 minutes. Now I am changing to sideways short trade setup. Now remaining 3 filters are same. Now all the 3 filters, zone achievement, minimum odd enhanced score and pierced count, all 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone. So with these filters, we got again 4 stocks supporting sideways short trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes supply zones. See, this is already tested 5 times. This zone is already tested once. Okay. Next, bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame and zone are 15 minutes demand zones. And here bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes. I am selecting bullish. And in the filters, minimum odd and hands score should be 12. Remaining filters are same. Now all the three filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. We got 13 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. All these are all 15 minutes demand zones up to here. Out of these 13 15 minutes demand zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. This is the filter. I am enabling the filter. Applying with this filter and all the 13 stocks, we got 11 stocks. Out of 13, 11 are filtered. In all these 11, these 15 minutes demand zones, all these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend, ITF trend is up in all the stocks. So let's further filter based on 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA confluence. So here in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I'm setting 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA or not. Let's filter. We got two stocks. So these two 15 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. Okay, this is based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence and also EMA confluence. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, three filters we have to set. First one is already enabled. Next 15 minutes on daily and 75 minutes on daily demand zone confluence. With all the three filters, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with the daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in all the stocks except the last one. Sideways. Sideways, ignore that. In the remaining 3 stocks, if any daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence, then these overlapped 15 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. That we will filter. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I am checking daily demand zone having daily EMA. At the same time, trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. Out of 3 having uptrend, 2 are filtered. That means HTF trend, daily trend. That means these 2 15 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. So this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup at 15 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd and hands score 12. And also 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 15 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 1 stock supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame zone is 15 minute supply zone. Let's verify the probability of this 15 minute supply zone. First, let us check this is having ITF supply zone confluence or not. that is the 15-minute supply zone with 75-minute supply zone filter is enabled. By applying the filter, the stock is filtered. That means this 15-minute supply zone overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. And 75-minute trend is a downtrend. So let's verify if 75-minute supply zone is having daily EMA or not. 75-minute supply zone with daily EMA, by setting the filter, the stock is not filtered. Okay, now we will check LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence or not. I am removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set now. First filter is already enabled. Next, 15 minutes and daily supply zone confluence, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence filters also enabled. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence, again the stock is filtered. That means this 15-minute supply zone overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. And daily trend is a downtrend. Let's verify if this stock daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. We will verify. Anyway, trend is downtrend. Daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence. Now the stock is filtered. That means this 15-minute supply zone having more high probability to get success. This is about bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, we will look into hourly income trade stocks. For hourly income trade, sideways long trade setup, entry time frame should be 5 minutes, entry zone should be demand zone. And bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup at 5 minutes time frame, I am selecting a sideways long trade setup, and zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 11 for sideways trade setup, and also the 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 5 stocks supporting sideways long trade setup for hourly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. So some of these stocks are already tested. This is the one. Okay. Next, sideways short trade setup. Entry time frame zones are 5 minutes supply zones. Here bullish or bearish or sideways at 5 minutes, I am changing to sideways short. Now all 3 filters are applied to 5 minutes supply zone. So we got 1 stock. Entry time frame is this 5 minutes supply zone. Okay. Next, bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame is 5 minutes demand zone, and in bullish or bearish at 5 minutes I am selecting bullish. And in the filters, in the 3 filters, only I am changing 1 filter, that is minimum odd enhancer score 12 for bullish or bearish. Now all the 3 filters are applied to 5 minutes demand zone. We got 14 stocks supporting bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Generally, hourly income trade success rate is low. So let's check any better stocks are there. So first one is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. Let us filter. So I am enabling this filter. Twelve stocks are filtered. That means 5 minutes demand zones overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. And 15 minutes trend is uptrend in all the stocks, ITF trend. So let's further filter this list based on EMA confluence on 15 minutes time frame. That is 15 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not, we are checking. None of the stocks are having. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters you have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And some of the stocks, 75 minutes trend is uptrend. So let's verify on those stocks. In the EMA at 75 minutes time frame, we are checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. At the same time, trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So none of the stocks are having EMA confluence. Without EMA confluence, we can't confirm their success. Okay, this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Hourly income trade. Next, we will look into bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup at 5 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And also 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 3 stocks. These 3 are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. Out of these 3 5 minute supply zones, let us verify high probability trade setup zones if any. First filter is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. With this filter, all 3 are filtered. That means in all the 3, these 5 minute supply zones overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. Now let's verify, because the downtrend, the 15 minutes trend, let's check if any of the 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. At 15 minutes time frame, checking 15 minutes demand zone, 15 minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence. None of them are having. Okay, fine. Next, let us look into LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. I remove EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First one already enabled. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, we got again all 3. That means in all the 3, 5 minute supply zones overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. But 75 minutes trend is a downtrend in only one stock. Sideways you have to ignore. Let's check if this 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. At 75 minute supply zone, I am checking it is having daily EMA confluence or not. At the same time, trend on this 75 minutes time frame should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So none of them are having EMA confluence. That means in hourly income trade, no stocks are having daily EMA. So that's why they have more failure chances. So this is about hourly income trade. Okay, now we have completed all the income trade reports. Next, we will generate stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames except daily and 75 minutes. Because daily and 75 minute stocks reports already we generated at the beginning of the video. So let's start with the yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly demand zone. We got 3 stocks. I'm giving you only few seconds. time to watch the report, pause the video and then proceed further. Okay, next. Price closed inside the yearly supply zone, no stocks. Next, half yearly time frame. Stocks near half yearly demand zone, no stocks. Stocks near half yearly supply zone, no stocks. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone, we got 2 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone, we got 3 stocks. Next time frame, quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone, we got 1 stock. Next, stocks near quarterly supply zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone, we got 11 stocks. And we can also further filter based on quarterly demand zone with quarterly EMA confluence. And the trend on the quarterly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. With these filters, we got 5 stocks. In all these 5 stocks, quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA confluence. And also current price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. How to make use of these kind of reports, I already explained in lesson 29.7, how to analyze stocks near or inside the demand zone or supply zone. I explained for one time frame, I explained. Please go through this video. Okay, next. Quarterly time frame, price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence. And also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. So we got 2 stocks. Okay, next time frame is a monthly. Stocks near to the monthly demand zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, stocks near to the monthly supply zone, we got 12 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone, we got 12 stocks, but we can further filter based on the EMA confluence. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. Okay, I'm setting the filter EMA confluence on monthly time frame. Setting monthly demands, checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the monthly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. We got 3 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the monthly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Quickly I am scrolling the list down. So total 42 stocks are filtered. Now let's verify how many of these stocks are having EMA confluence, that is monthly supply zone with monthly EMA confluence. And also trend on the monthly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. Now we got it filtered to 14 stocks. All 14 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence. Price closed inside these monthly supply zones. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near to the weekly demand zone, we got 11 stocks. Next, Stocks near to the weekly supply zone, we got 16 stocks. Scrolling the list down. Next, price closed inside the weekly demand zone, we got 13 stocks. We can further filter based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. And also trend on the weekly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. We got 10 stocks. All these 10 weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Look into the filter, search filter. And trend is either up or down. Okay, next. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list, it's a big list. Let me scroll the list down quickly. So total 71 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at weekly, I am checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, and also trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down with these filters. Now the list is reduced. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down, 23 stocks are filtered. So this is about weekly time frame. Daily already we generated in the beginning of the report. Next we will go to the next time frame, 125 minutes. Stocks near to the 125 minutes demand zone, we got 7 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 125 minutes supply zone, we got 8 stocks. Next time frame 75 minutes already generated in the beginning of the report. So we will move on to the next time frame 25 minutes. Stocks near to the 25 minutes demand zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minutes supply zone, we got 13 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 15 minutes supply zone, we got 9 stocks. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near to the 5 minutes demand zone, we got 11 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 5 minute supply zone, we got 10 stocks. So with this, we have completed generation of stocks near demand and supply zones for all the time frames. So in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I am scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Next video will be available on 5th June 2025. And until then, we will not be available to provide any of our services. So because we are not publishing at least minimum 15 trading sessions, so that is the reason why for Zone subscribers, they will be getting complete July month free subscription. So please make use of this opportunity. because 5th onwards you will be getting June. 3rd week of June, maybe 2 or 3 days you won't be getting reports. But July month you will be getting the reports apart for all the remaining whatever the days you get in June together. Till 31st July, June subscribers will be getting the reports. Okay, hope this video information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.